and snacks, crackers and snacks, crackers and snacks. I like crackers and snacks, crackers and snacks, crackers and snacks.
What I do appreciate is like if you have a scene that's like built on something else, like the comics folks, like I very much support, and I'm from the beginning have supported organizing around preventing that market from getting more speculative, because that's a market based on like additions and multiples, and there's of course like vultures and speculative aspects to it, but people get mad and kind of mobilize whenever it happens. Like if somebody does like a resale of somebody's zine for a zine that was like $5 and suddenly it's like 500 or whatever, people get mad about it because it's like that person is like right there at the table next to you. You know what I mean? Like it's
I mean it's the same thing in
but
the
I know
art world, though. There's all these like blacklists of if you take a work to auction, then galleries won't sell you anything, and it just makes it that much harder for you to acquire a thing to be a flipper.
So I support like mechanisms for like preventing this shit from happening in like an organized way, like where it's like, we are trying to make this stupid, like everything's like a stupid market, and of course art should be free, but it's like
it's community organized, though, like how we take care of all of these things, and it doesn't stop people from deciding they're on a mission to win the lottery by getting the thing and selling the thing to someone else. Like if it takes them like people who want to sell something at auction that could stand to make hundreds of thousands of dollars or $1 million, like they're gonna spend a lot of time trying to do that. So you could stop them once or twice, you could stop them 10 times, but if they try 11 times and they get it that last time, then they just do it. It's just like, and people are like, this is outrageous, and it's like, well, no, this is free market capitalism. Like
there's a type of like kind of impotent moral outrage that happens that like isn't going to really help anything, similar to like, oh, surely like a lawyer or journalist will just save us, like
Westworld. If people just knew.
Now it's like so because there's like no regulation now, there are the like tastemakers of the community they're like, I would never buy a painting that smells like linseed oil at an art fair because you can tell the artist just slapped it out to be a part of the speculative machine. So there's like all these people who are like in Miami, they're like under a palm tree, they're taking a selfie, and they're like, I'll never get an NFT. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, that's great. I guess your politics are good and everything's fine because you won't get an NFT. Or like, you're not going to buy a painting that might be wet. Like,
well, that's the tastemaker shit does it. Like, it is annoying, like how much influence the influencers have, even though it's like ultimately not that significant. It's like, it's frustrating when it is like as much. So I'm like, I'd rather them be on the good side, but of course that's not a substitute for like actual like organizing and enforcing this stuff through like unionizing, or at the very least like like guilds or community, like
well, like the weird thing about like the evolution of this is just that it used to be the same people would go to an art fair and they would be like, oh my God, I feel so bad about the ecological impact of like everybody shipping their art to this one location, or like, I feel so bad about the local communities who are displaced during this international event where all these people get increased security, and they do the whole, hotel economy thing. And it's like, now people are just going, oh my God, I feel so bad that there's NFTs. And it's like, what if people stop feeling bad and just do it? Because it's happening anyway. But I'm just like, okay, what if you just stop feeling bad? Does it change anything?
Well, that's
like, you can feel bad or good.
Yeah, guilt is kind of an amazing emotion because it gives you like a moral direction for yourself, but we've gotten very used to just simply not listening to that for whatever reason. And I always think about an article in the Times about Upper East Side women feeling guilty about.
I love that article.
Yeah, and so one of the women says, like, I would tear the $6 price tag off of my bread alone because I didn't want my house cleaner to know that I was spending $6 on a loaf of bread. And it's like,
yeah,
you could just pay her more. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You literally don't have to ever feel guilt. Like,
but I think that's the thing about guilt is it's like when you feel guilt, it's like you get to center yourself as the conduit of the experience, and you get to feel like you're the main character, or like you have the agency. Like, I feel bad that I'm doing this, and I claim responsibility for these things that are happening and elevate myself in doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it feels like being engaged, and it's like,
well, there's numbers involved too, right? There's numbers involved in being really guilty online and being really like virtue signaling. I forget the whatever, pandering, whatever you want to call it. The
land acknowledgements.
Yeah, land acknowledge like that.
Yeah.
Is
it's like the Matt Christman thing. Like we were talking about in class, where he's like talking about the grill pill, and meanwhile he's like, oh my God, I feel terrible. I just realized I'm a part of the media. Yeah. Like, bro, like, and you never stopped. Yeah. like you could just, and you just like got his whole solo project out of that. It was like the Kush vlog is like, guys, I'm so sad that I'm like vlogging right now.
But I love the irony, guys. Like, they're like, oh, we ironied so hard it became real, and it's like, maybe it wasn't irony to begin, or like maybe it doesn't matter what the distinction or how you're doing it. It like,
and they have no excuse because we were all hipsters in 2006, and we found out the hard way that irony wasn't real.
Damn.
I mean, you are right that like guilt is a self like centering thing, but it also is like, the answer to your own personal guilt.
I think the trouble is like
you can feel better if you want.
The trouble too is like it's all getting channeled into these social media brand exercises, very individualizing process, instead of using that guilt in a transformative way and building something more collective to try to assuage that guilt together, or like maybe actually make a difference. Because if you're formalizing a collective process and actively seeking to build that up more and more and more and more, that could actually make a dent, not your little Instagram post.
I think like you do need the despair, and then you do need the radicalization, but then you also need the physical world, like actually doing something about it.
Yeah, you need a grounding, not only in the physical world, but also like a vision for how a theory of change and how to change it, and how to contribute to actually changing it. And if the theory of change is just like, philanthropy, carbon offset. That's bullshit.
Yeah, it's just floundering. Like I'm thinking more and more about like actually how we don't need I think we need a lot of dignity. I think we need
Oh.
to have a discussion about like what it means to carry yourself with pride and know that you are doing everything that you can. And like when you look at your life, you realize like the things that are out of your control, and you realize like, okay, if I'm going to show up at a thing, like, why am I doing that? If I'm going to take money, I might take money, you know, I might take money, and then if I need it, I'm going to use it for something. I'm not just going to feel guilty and then like, you know, eat a lot of ice cream or something and then waste the money that I feel bad about having. I'm going to be like, well, that sucked to get it.
Yeah.
In this really awkward way, but now I get to do things to help people who need money, and I'm going to give it to them, and then like I'll use the stuff that I need, you know, and just like kind of be more accountable. Like
To hear the rest of this exclusive part 2 on Art Basel and blockchain and talking shit about Chapo Trap House or whatever the fuck we talked about, you can support us on patreon.com/artandlabor for the low price of $5. And then you can listen to us go the fuck off, Queen, King, non-binary royalties. Goodbye.